Well, well, well. Hey there everybody, JT Bear here, and thank you for joining me today as we discuss the best compost pile I have ever seen, well, at least since we've been in Manitoba. Since we've been out here, my composting efforts have been greatly slowed by the fact that it's really cold out here most of the year. So what I've done most of my life for composting, which is just kind of pile it up, toss it over once a year, pile it up, just hasn't really been working out here. I got a compost pile, the landscaping compost pile. It took me 3 years before it was effectively worth turning, and I got something, worthwhile out of it. Like I say, worth turning. But that pile you were just looking at has only been stacked up for maybe 5 days, and it's steaming. So let's talk about that. So here we have the carbon and nitrogen dumping grounds that I generally refer to as the landscaping compost, because ultimately this is where puppy dog's waste ends up getting filed. And because of that, this is only really good for building up the landscape. Conveniently enough, we got a lot of low places and places where we could use that kind of soil. Here's what we're getting out of it after I put it through the hardware cloth screen there. I have to say, it's not too bad. However, I can show you some things downstairs, and I will in upcoming dungeon videos. There are lots and lots of seeds, very active, sprouting up in everything I have planted in that. I got a lot of house plants with things that look like peppers or tomatoes or who only knows what. And so clearly this pile is not getting all that hot. So today's pointing stick that you see is a compost thermometer, and I kind of generally have it plunked in here as a matter of course, and it's been pretty much sticking in that blue zone, basically the same as when it's in ambient temperature. Claims it's 10 degrees. My tablet claims it's 0 degrees Celsius here, so I'm not sure I necessarily believe that. But anyway, that is what this landscaping compost, a lot of leaves, a lot of weeds, a lot of lawn clippings, a lot of his presence, that's what this is sitting at. Okay? Recently turned just before the fall, lots of carbon, but it's been sitting here for a while. Not very hot. Not very hot at all. But we're going to pull that out, take it over to our new state-of-the-art, low-tech, turn-of-the-century composting system here. And let's just see what that steamer is producing for us. Forgive me here as I'm trying to lock the door behind me. I don't want any ladies escaping. The one thing for sure, definitely a lot easier to get it in there. Now we'll give this a second because it's got a bend in it. But I will check back on that in a minute or so, once it's warmed up to this temperature. In the meantime, let's talk about this. All this really is the leaves that have fallen off. I grab them once the snow melts enough that I can see them. I rake them up, I toss them in here. And yesterday I took the old, well, it's not old, it's like 3 years old. Anyway, I took our little battery operated lawnmower out. We call it as a yard vacuum, and that's exactly what I used it as. Sucked up a lot of these leaves, and yeah, I dumped a couple of bags into the pile here, which is why you see so much fresh stuff on top, and quite a few bags inside, making, some deeper bedding for little brown butt back there. Anywho, so yeah, all I've done with this is I've piled those leaves up. I've tossed some kitchen scraps on here, piled more leaves as they became available. The chickens have been learning to kind of root through it, and about 5 days ago I made this little pallet thing, tossed it in here, and the chickens have been, again, working it over quite consistently ever since. I've been tossing food in there, and they've been learning about kicking it back, so of course this is absolutely filthy now. I need to clean that out, but anyway, that's pretty much all that's been happening. They've been working it over. It's leaves. I've been adding kitchen scraps. However, it's in something of a greenhouse environment. It's blocked from the wind here. It's blocked from the snow here. That may be helping. The chickens are making their waste on it, and they make both pee and poo at the same time, right? So, you know, that's undoubtedly helping. But this is definitely the fastest, warmest compost pile I have had since we've been out here in Manitoba. What do you say, Bunty? You gonna check it out? I have to say the plastic and fiberglass sheeting are doing a great job of blocking most of that wind, which is undoubtedly helping this heap keep its temperature. Is that so? Can you prove it? No screenshot. Never happened. Alright, anyway. We'll check back on this in a couple of minutes. I'm going to clean up their mess from earlier today. They experienced and learned about watermelon today. Anywho, yeah, I'll go find out what he's up to. We'll check back on that temperature. Okay, so we gave that a few minutes while I kind of tidied up the floor here a little bit. And we can see the temperature has jumped to about 140, so 60 degrees Celsius, give or take. That is a nice hot compost, and that definitely explains the steam. So while it seems kind of ridiculous to have these chickens as garden workers, really, they are in fact some seriously high-speed composters out here. And they are going to make a huge difference, I think, to the viability or fertility of my garden beds. Now, I'm going to scoot from their pen, and we'll just see if they come in here to play for a few minutes. Hopefully we can enjoy some of that. Well, the battery's dying and the chickens are as much of divas as the dog. Of course, now that I move the camera, one of the Bettys is up on the pile. Anywho, if you want to follow along in their adventures, be sure to go down to the Bear Family Farms, My Small Farm channel, Clean Valley Farms, whatever the link happens to be on this particular video. It is currently named Bear Family Farms. That is what it's going to stay, and my battery is about to die. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining me as we check out my high-speed chicken composters and the best compost pile I've had in Manitoba.